Adidas, a sports trainer or a way of life. Adidas to some people was a culture, a way of life and a huge fashion statement. With the rise of mod culture in modern day, Adidas and all that comes with it is coming up more apparent in the modern day. In this documentary I'll be looking at Adidas through the ages from the boom period in the 1970s and 80s to the modern day. This is Adidas and this is our culture. 1980s Britain saw the rise of a group of football fans dressing to impress. They were brand crazy, from Alessi to Diadora to Sergio Tiacci. They even wore it all. But all these brands had never been seen in Britain before. They were European designer brands, coming in high demand. But where did they come from? The internet wasn't even thought of back then, so there must have been an import. And there was, young Liverpool football fans. Back in the 80s, Liverpool were the European giants of the game, from winning leagues and domestic cups and European leagues in the same season, all thanks to Joe Fagan. Liverpool supporters travelled everywhere with their beloved club, from Italy to Spain to Germany. It was Italy where Liverpool fans would find these clothes. They had never seen them before. Brands, colours, fabrics, and that you didn't see in England. But with no money, because they'd spent it all on long coach journeys and ferry rides, and all the beer that they spent with it, so they had no money to pay for them. So in drunken stupidity, they would go and rob shop bare of their goods from smaller, less profitable brands, such as Diadora, to the most expensive, such as Stone Island. When returning from Europe with bags filled with expensive designer gear, they profited from all this and sold it all on, and this is where the casual scene started. But where did Adidas come from in all of this? Adidas came well before the times Liverpool fans ransacking small Italian towns. Adidas was first seen in the 1972 Olympic Games in Munich. Because it was being worn by high-end sports stars, people really wanted to wear this new German brand that people love. It was at the end of the 70s where Adidas started to boom. This is from celebrities wearing Adidas and more commonly musicians wearing Adidas originals. One of the first musicians to wear Adidas was Bob Marley, a very popular reggae star, wearing SL72s in the picture shown. It didn't stop there. The big stars from Manchester, Oasis, loved Adidas and would commonly wear it at gigs and music videos. Noel Gallagher particularly loved Adidas. This is from where he stopped taking Class A drugs and wanted something else to do. So he started collecting Adidas trainers, and Adidas company loved this, so he made his own trainer just for him in his Manchester City colours. Obviously, any publicity is good publicity, but for Adidas it was amazing. See music stars and athletes such as Stan Smith and Muhammad Ali wearing your trainers was a huge boost, and people fell in love with Adidas. The names don't stop there. Adidas' biggest fan is the best German footballer ever to play, Franz Beckenbauer. Surprisingly, Franz loved his homegrown company and had his own trainer made after him. As I said before, Adidas wasn't the only brand at the time. In the late 70s and early 80s, new brands were coming onto the scene all the time. Adidas were up against it when it came to brand wars. But they didn't have to worry. Adidas had a stable trainer to any casual, and they kept faith in their light blue trefoil. Unfortunately, not everything can go plain sailing, and Adidas started to get branded with the football hooligan designer tag in the late 80s. Football hooliganism started in the 1970s, taking over culture such as the Teddy Boys or the skinheads of the 1960s. Hooligans played English football throughout the 80s, and because of this, Adidas were at the forefront of the action when people saw the terrorist thugs. On the 31st of May 1985, Margaret Thatcher put pressure on Football Association, the FA, to ban English football teams from playing in Europe. This was granted 2 days later when the FA banned English teams for 5 years, and Liverpool specifically for 6. But why? Why was this caused? This event came on the 29th of May when Liverpool played Juventus in the 1985 European Cup final in Belgium. The game was played in the very old Heysel Stadium in Brussels, where about an hour before kick-off, a large group of Liverpool fans breached a fence separating them from a neutral area, which contained mostly Juventus fans. The latter ran on the terraces and away from the threat into a concrete retaining wall. Fans already seated near the wall were crushed. Eventually, the wall collapsed. Unfortunately, 39 people died that day because of the hooligans, and about 600 were injured. This ended some people's love of football, and the English game suffered because of it. The casual scene was dying, and people were forced to believe from Thatcher and the media that all football fans are hooligans, and it wasn't safe to watch the beautiful game. What's your first memory of Adidas trainers?
When I was quite a young kid, I used to wear like Adidas Predators, like the football boots and stuff, and all my favourite footballers used to wear them, so I automatically was attracted to Adidas, if you know what I mean.
Why Adidas trainers?
I think they're, obviously, I like the whole thing of wearing the 3 stripes on your feet. I think it seems quite iconic, and I really like the design of the shoes in general, and I think it's quite a quality brand.
What does Adidas mean to you?
If I put it into words, like collection, like I'd love to collect a lot of shoes, quality brand, and like iconic, I suppose, yeah.
I think Adidas has a bad name because of topics such as football hooligans and drinking drugs in the mod scene.
I think as soon as you like get to a football game, if you see someone wearing Adidas trainers, well, if someone saw someone wearing Adidas trainers, they could think, oh, they might be some sort of a hooligan or have some sort of problems. But I think if you see them in the street, then there's no problem whatsoever. And also it depends on the type. Like if you see someone who looks genuinely like interested in collecting like vintage Adidas trainers or something like that, then there's no problem. But if it's just someone wearing like casual related clothes that look a bit like a hooligan, then yeah, I think it's related.
How much do you think you've spent on Adidas trainers?
Probably a few £100, but it could have been a lot more.
Do you think the culture of the 80s may be coming back into modern fashion?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's quite trendy, if you like. I think it's pretty cool, the clothes and that they used to wear back then. And yeah, there's some like modifications of that, but I think it is coming back, yeah.
Adidas trainers have sold for £1,000. Why do you think this is? And if you did have the funds available, would you buy it?
I'd probably buy like mid-range ones, if you like, as in like a few £100, because I think they're nicer than the expensive ones anyway. And why they're expensive is just the rarity, like those ones that you see like 1 in 20 or 1 in 100, something like that. That's why they're so rare.
Do you think football violence and hooliganism is coming back into the modern match day?
Well, I don't personally see much of it, but I hear things about it, and I hope it's not, but I do see people dressing that way and shouting that way, but I've never actually seen any actual violence at a football match. Very little of it anyway. Why is it coming back? I don't think there's any particular reason it's coming back. It's probably never really gone, if you like. It's never really gone from the game. As in, people have always, for some reason, thought that fighting's part of watching the club, and I suppose Adidas is a huge market, and I don't think they'll be too worried about being related to that, because there's loads of different types of shoes and stuff and clothes, so yeah, I don't think they'll be too worried about it.
Things have slightly modernised from back then. New brands have come through and old ones have dropped off. There is still this high desire for expensive clothes, wanting to outdress the opposition fans, looking better than your casual counterparts. People think football hooliganism is on the up, but how? Football has modernised so much in the modern day with the wealth of the Premier League that the working man's game has now become the rich man's game, with high ticket prices and small ticket allocations to the general public. Football is so highly policed nowadays that anything that you do could send you to jail. You can't even say you didn't do it, because there's CCTV in the modern game all the way in League 2 up to the Premier League. But I do agree with some things that people say about modern football. People have started to dress casual again. The rise of brands such as Lesse has gone through the roof. I do think that days of the casual are coming back, but there is a huge difference from being a dresser and more subtle fashion choice to being a hooligan. People take conscious decision to buy designer clothes such as Lyland, Scott and Fred Perry because they like the nicer things in life. But calling someone a hooligan because they wear a brand is wrong. It's like calling someone a hooligan if it looks like they've fallen out of Top Man and River Island and hit every badly made t-shirt and jumper on the way down. It doesn't work like that. It's what you do that gets you branded as a hooligan, not what you wear. The days of turning up 5 minutes before kick-off, paying a small amount and watching your team is over. Of course there will be some idiots who ruin something, not just in football but also in everything in life. From music to politics, there'll always be someone to ruin it for everyone else. But moving back to Adidas specifically, Adidas has another boom since 2012, collectors reminiscing over the trainers they used to wear as teenagers and young adults. From the original trainers from the 80s going for thousands of pounds, people have just gone mad when it comes to Adidas. In recent years, Adidas has started to remake some of their best-selling trainers from the 80s, such as Hamburg range or the Stockholms, which have been very popular, and the Stockholms have become very expensive and rare. The trainers have turned into collector's items, not just trainers. People will buy the trainers that might not even fit them because of the name on them, such as the Adidas Hardwicks, where they only made 200 pairs. You can find these trainers on eBay for hundreds and hundreds of pounds just because there's not been many of them made. Hopefully this documentary will help people know more about a fashion and culture that not many people know of. This is Adidas and this is our culture.